What's up, ladies and gentlemen? chuckfinleLP here. Let's Plays Crash Bandicoot Part 4. We are beginning Cortex Island, the last and the most difficult island in Crash Bandicoot, and we will be starting with Heavy Machinery, a personal favorite of mine, level-wise. I like the look of the level. I like the music. Music is really good. That's, I guess, the best feature about it to me, personally, anyway. Something that I do right off the bat. To clarify, if you remember back in part 1, I had talked about the way the saving was kind of weird. Well, I just I had quit after part 3. I had turned my console off and had stopped playing it, so my lives will be reset. And if you remember, I had beat Koala Kong before doing Whole Hog. Well, coming back into the game, I had to redo Koala Kong. So what that tells me is the saving, no matter what you save, if you save it by gym or if you save it by a gym, you still have to replay the last level of the island or the last level that you have beat. So you won't say get the gym for Sunset Vista. Well, you would have to redo Sunset Vista before you could go to Koala Kong if you hadn't beat Koala Kong yet. And that does seem, kind of bad, but that kind of frees you up a little bit. You don't, if worrying with Sunset Vista, you don't have to actually go through the entire thing as scared as you would be if you were trying to go for the gym. And it makes it a lot more easier, and it's actually a lot more fun that way. But so but the I guess it's the same way with the bonus rounds, saving by the bonus rounds. I guess that's the same way that you would save it under like that. Because when I was talking about it, or when I was explaining the saving feature with the bonus rounds, I was saying, well, you would still have to redo the level, but you would gain any, you would still have all of your progress up to that point, and that's the exact same way that the gyms do it. So, I just wanted to clarify that. It's nothing too major, but I do try to clarify those things if I do find that I've talked about something wrong. But I could have swore that's how the gyms worked. But that's my bad. That's my bad on by giving out wrong information. But anyway, so now this is actually one of the more difficult bonus rounds to get all of the boxes for, and I did mess that up there. But you can't actually get that bottom box down there, and it doesn't really matter because the best you'll get out of them is just lives, and they're not really that useful. Yeah, I couldn't remember how many jumps on there. As I've said before, you gain 10 pieces of Wumpa Fruit out of those striped bouncy crates, so you can count the bounces. Oh crap! Oh wow! I just saved it for the wrong thing. That's what you get for not paying attention. Okay, anyway. Yeah, that was pretty bad, but I'm not going to worry about it right now anyway. So, if you notice, some of the features here are these steam vents. The steam will hurt you just like these hot pipes will. They act like fire. So you do want to be careful and not touch them. The blue or cold pipes, those won't hurt you. Those act as platforms for you to jump on and kind of stand on. And you can see these bouncing. I guess they're like pistons, and you can see what the steam does there. But those pistons will bounce you up higher, and you'll see those later on in the level, and they'll act, or they'll play a bigger role than they did there. And as you also notice, this is the third Brio bonus round. pretty sure, yeah, I believe this is the third one. Now this one, this is where they start to get a lot tougher. You have to be pretty precise here. To jump precisely while doing this, you have to kind of alternate between hitting. If you find yourself going too fast, you can always hit back on the, or you know, you can always go in the opposite direction. You're jumping on the directional pad, and you can see here, I believe you only gain 4 lives through this level. So this, I think, there might have been 2 lives in those stacks of boxes. I wasn't paying attention. I was, you know, more focused on making sure that I got across. But and that's just, you know, so say if you're jumping left, well, you can jump right to kind of bring yourself back into position. What you would normally want to do is you would want to watch the shadow. Well, there, you know, it's just too dark, and the camera angle isn't quite right for you to be able to watch your shadow and to be able to see it. So what you would do is just kind of center Crash's body on the as best you can on the boxes, and just hope for the best. You know, the camera usually centers around Crash in most instances, especially through that Brio bonus round. It definitely does it. You can see it a lot more clearly, so that's a great way to show off, or well, not show off anything, but just to be able to pick which, well, just to help yourself land on the boxes. And you always want to make sure that you hit the jump button as soon as you land on one of those boxes, because that will make you jump higher into the air, and you'll be able to progress a lot easier. Now, you can see here in Cortex Power, you're getting onto the power plant of Cortex's island. You can see there's some jungle, so I guess that's some of the original foliage from Cortex Island. And you can see here where the pipes come back. Those will actually be a. Oops, didn't think I thought that was up higher in the air. Those will actually be something that you'll see for a couple more levels until we get out of the power plant section. You could really cut Cortex Island up into 2 sections instead of like almost two separate islands, instead of just the one island that it's like all the other islands are. And you could look at it like that, and you have the power plant section here, and then you have the climb up to the castle and its set of levels. Unlike with Intensity or Insanity Islands, I'm not going to go this way. You actually have to to be able to get the bonus, or the gem here. We have to get another color gem. So I'm actually going to skip quite a bit of this level. There's a lot of backtracking that's involved in this, and I'm gonna wait until I get through the level, or before I can come back here with the right color gem that I need, and then show all that off, because it is quite long and very difficult to be able to get every single box in this level. So I will not talk about any trivia or anything for this level until I beat it. Like some of the other levels that I've had to have color gems for, those who are a little bit more complete and they didn't involve as much backtracking. So that so that I could and I was able to talk about the levels more. But in this one, I won't say anything more about it other than that's the level. That's just a portion, a tiny sliver of the level. You can see there, I still missed 24 boxes. But anyway, and I'll show off what I'm talking about with Cortex Island here really quickly. I'll spin the camera, and you can see here there's the power plant that I'm standing on. Then you have a bridge before you go to the other main island. Well, in fact, it is one main island, but because of the bridge and these are 2 different rock formations, you could pretty much say, okay, well, those could be considered 2 separate islands. Now, that's not widely recognized as Cortex Island being 2 separate islands, but it could be, and some people do view it as that, but not always. And it really just depends on the person. But anyway, so you see here there is Cortex swinging back and forth on these cameras. He does not have the N on his forehead that you will see. I don't remember if they showed that off in the starting cutscene. or not, you know, but you can see N marked everywhere else except on those TV screens. And this is definitely the most creepy level. I guess you'll have a lot more fans of this game say that this is by far the most creepy level in the entire game. It's not really scary like Sunset Vista is. You know, it doesn't worry you while going through the level because it's actually oh crap. Okay. I would jump on all those boxes to get all this Wumpa fruit, but because I stepped on this platform, instead of jumping on all the boxes, and you can actually jump on all those boxes and then land and then run around and get most of that Wumpa fruit. I didn't, however, and I had messed it up there. That big square is just a bunch of these little squares connected together, and so they will stay up longer than these little squares, but you have to be careful because it's not immediate. You know, you can step on it, you can run around and do a little bit, and then it just drops out from underneath you like instantly, and you won't even know it a lot of the time before it's already out from underneath you and you fall and die. Well, thankfully it is early on in the level, but you know, still, you don't want to have to go through any portion of any level a whole bunch of times when it's unnecessary. But anyway, so yeah, that level is definitely but it's just really the Cortex heads is the creepiest thing about it. Just, you know, Cortex swinging back and forth on those TVs. That's the biggest thing that freaks a lot of people out. As I said, and because it is so dark, if you rely on Crash's shadow, it makes it a lot more difficult to see the shadow just because it is so dark and so gloomy in the level. You know, yeah, here you can see Crash's shadow, and do I want to use this mask through this section? I don't think I do. I believe I have to be pretty precise through here. So yeah, another instance where I will spin the mask away, just because I have to be very precise while going through here. And as I've talked about before, the mask speeds up your movements. Yeah, it would have definitely helped me out through here, but once you got to here, that would have made it very difficult, because you would have been moving a lot faster, your jumping speed would have been a lot faster, your movement speed would have been a lot faster, and I just find it a lot easier to not use the mask. I mean, you know, I'm sure you can actually use the mask, but I just choose not to. But anyway, so you can see there, you can see Crash's shadow, but especially like on the metal platforms, it's just so hard to see, especially on the black platforms. You have to look at the end to be able to see it. You can kind of see it there, but not too much. You know, once you get onto these, and you can see kind of smoke, like the shadow, I guess a smoky shadow along a lot of these sections, a lot of these pillars on this kind of enclosed walkway here. That will throw you off as well, just because you won't be able to see you, because you can see on the platforms here as well. So that definitely takes away from being able to use it efficiently. Now, if you saw one of those little camera robots I just have to make sure that both of those blow up. Usually they will. I've never had a problem with them in this game, but in later Crash games you do have to be careful, because sometimes if you get too far away from a TNT before it detonates, or if the counter for another one is counting down and it hasn't, and you get too far away from it and it detonates prematurely, it will not blow up the other TNTs around it. So you do have to be very careful through here. Through this section you have to be careful because of those pipes can push you off. You can see here, safety first, CEO, pinstripe, Pilla, Potteroo, I believe, or Pilly, Potteroo, but that is the person that owns the Cortex Factory, I guess the CEO of Cortex Factory, or Cortex Power, the power plant on here. And you can see there's one of the color gems. Once you get onto the third island, this is where a large majority of the colored gems are, and there's a lot fewer instances where you actually need color gems to be able to get the regular gems. There will be a few levels, like with Cortex Power, where we will need a color gem, but for the most part, in most of these levels, you don't really need a color gem. Now this is definitely one of my least favorite levels, or it used to be when I was younger, toxic waste. You can see there is one of those, right, an enemy there throwing barrels. This section, this little walkway, is actually pretty easy. It kind of just gets you used to the barrels and the pattern of the barrels and how the enemy throws them. But as you go along, and you definitely want to get those masks, if you can come into this area, this level with 2 masks, you know, to start, that'll definitely help you out a lot more than not. You definitely don't want to come through here with just this 1 mask, as it makes it a lot easier. And you pretty much have to just go along these walkways and jump over the barrels. But as you go along, the walkways will get longer. There will be boxes pushed off to the side here. There's you know, these little side platforms where you can stand on and take a break and learn the timing for these barrels if you need to. You want to be careful going up the slopes, because those will you can still jump over the barrels, but it messes your angle up while you're trying to jump onto them. So more often than not, you'll get hit, especially if you jump prematurely, and then you'll start having holes in the slopes, and a lot more holes just on these platforms. And there should be another barrel type getting thrown here. I'm just trying to listen. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the red or brown jumping barrel gets thrown into the mix. The gigantic rats will throw 2 yellows and then 1 brown one, and those are actually the hardest to learn the timing for, just because the bouncing, you have to kind of time it right so that you're coming, that you're running underneath when the barrel jumps over your head. And while that's not too difficult, and it doesn't seem that difficult to start, it is, especially once you get into a section like this where you just have an endless barrage of these barrels come at you. Now you want to be careful here, because that, oh crap, because the Tana bonus round is there, and if you don't blow those TNTs up beforehand, you will actually miss those TNTs, and you will have to, oh crap, ah wow, that was stupid. I should have just jumped and then jumped across. But if you don't blow those TNTs up before going into the bonus round, you will lose the TNTs, and you can just jump around them like that. But it is kind of scary, especially, you know, if you mess the angle up when you miss the barrels wrong and, you know, everything. So you want to be careful about the TNTs. But if you also get crushed by a barrel, and you can see here's the blue gem. I could go back and do Cortex Power, but I'm not going to. As I've said before, I'm going to wait and do all of the levels that I need to in a separate video. But if you get the Tana bonus round token and then you get crushed, you'll still be in the dying animation. Crash will get crushed flat, and he'll kind of do like sit-ups where he's kind of looking up. If you get crushed by a barrel or one of the stones in Rolling Stones or Jungle Rollers, you will not actually, that will not count as a death. And I thought that was very useful to add. But it's kind of, it's not random, you know, but not every level you're going to die just as soon as you get to a Tana bonus. And this is the only level that I can think of where you could actually have the potentially of dying while getting a Tana bonus round. But anyway, so as you can see here, Pinstripe will shoot this gun at you from different times. For the first 3 hits, he will go from one side of the room to the other, shooting you, and then he will start jumping in different areas, either on the left side of the room, the table, or the right side of the room. The gun will then jam, and then that's your opportunity to spin him. And then for this last hit, he will just jump on the table. His gun will jam again, but he will get it unjammed a lot faster. So you have to be careful and a lot faster. Now the only way you can hide yourself is behind those 2 chairs, the one that is standing upright and the one that is knocked over. You cannot hide anywhere else. If you hide anywhere else, you will take damage, and you will, you'll just take damage. So you do want to be very careful about that. But anyway, so that's the 5th level. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the trivia for here. Heavy Factory. The enemies are the hollow projector, the pipe, steam pipe, hovering robot, spiked robot, and the crawling, the kind of dog-like thing that you could see. Heavy Machinery is the 18th level in Crash Bandicoot and the first level of Cortex Island. It has both a Tana and Brio bonus round. It is one of the few levels in the game with a clear gem that can be obtained without a colored gem route, as instead it has a secret area where you can jump down a gap guarded by two robots towards the start of the level. Trivia for this level. Debuting in this stage are floating hologram probes. This is the first level in the series to feature robots. Okay. So as I said, I will skip Cortex Power. I will talk about that once I do all the other levels. Okay. So we'll just jump ahead to the Generator Room. Generator Room is the 20th level in Crash Bandicoot. It contains the orange gem. It is similar in style to the ancient temple levels, Temple Ruins, and Jaws of Darkness, which we will see later on, but set in Cortex's power plant and complete with robotic enemies. Trivia: Pinstripe leaves a message on the final door on this stage claiming to be the CEO of Cortex Power. It is never explained in-game. On the final door, Pinstripe's full name is spelled Pinstripelli Patoroti. Pinstripelli Patoroti. Okay, so at the start of the level, Cortex's face is on what appears to be a TV screen. On the TV screen of Cortex's face, there is no N on his forehead. Touching the screen of any of the televisions will instantly kill Crash by electrocution. I know that. I never knew, because I never wanted to touch the screens before. I never thought of doing it before. Enemies for that level are the Hollow Projector's power pipe, television screen, steam pipe, and spiked robot. So for toxic waste, enemies are the barrel thrower himself. If you run into him, you will die or take damage. The bouncing toxic waste barrel, and then the normal waste barrel, which are the brown, yellow ones are the bouncing ones, and then the yellow ones are the brown bouncing ones are the R1, and then the yellow ones are the other one. But anyway, Toxic Waste is the 21st level in the original Crash Bandicoot. As the name suggests, it is full of toxic waste. Pinstripe's henchmen throw barrels of toxic waste to stop Crash. It is considered to be one of the hardest levels in the game. The blue gem is obtained here by breaking every crate. Some of the barrels bounce and others don't, so the player needs to make sure they either jump the barrels or avoid them. It is recommended to have at least one Aku Aku in this stage. Trivia: the entire level is a parody of the video game Donkey Kong, since it involves Crash jumping over barrels. Number of crates, 26, and then you get the blue gem. I didn't talk about the other crates for the other levels. I'll go back and do that once I get done with Pinstripe. This is the fourth boss fight in Crash Bandicoot and takes place on Cortex Island. It is set in Pinstripe's office, and he has 6 hit points. It begins with Pinstripe standing on his desk shooting at Crash with his Tommy gun, laughing insanely. Then he jumps off and starts shooting at Crash, who's cowering behind a chair, which is withstanding the bullets every now and then. Pinstripe will cross the room as he stops shooting, giving Crash the time to spin or jump on him, taking one of his hit points. He'll then do this 2 more times. When Pinstripe just his 3 hit points, he'll start jumping on and off his desk, laughing like crazy. This time, however, his gun will malfunction after a small series of shots, letting Crash spin him or jump on him. On his final hit point, Pinstripe's gun will malfunction on the desk, and when Crash spins or jumps on him, he fires a few more as a last attack, but accidentally shoots the generator at the back of the room. This may have stopped the pollution of the island, and he falls to his knees. Trivia: Pinstripe's portrait is located on the left side of the office. Cortex is on the right. In Crash 1, when Crash is hiding behind the chairs and Pinstripe's boss fight, the chairs aren't damaged by the gunfire. Alright, so I'll go back and take a look at the boxes for Heavy Machinery. 33 for Heavy Machinery, the gem type is clear. And then for Generator Room, 44, and then the color is orange, so there you go. So anyway, I thank you for watching. Challenge of the video is how many barrels did I jump over, or, well, I guess how many barrels were thrown at me in the entire Taco Squeeze level. Thank you for watching. We will be doing we will start the other half of Cortex Island in part 5, so until then, later everyone.